Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that's not really great. Do y'all remember Feature Man, that one old guy that makes a bunch of weird food videos, including the well-known eating a watermelon with my clone video? I always thought that he was this wholesome old guy that just wanted to make some weird-ass content for some reason. However, just the other day, I watched some ordinary gamers make a video on this dude, and man, my perspective on this old man changed completely. Feature Man, also known as by his real name, Thomas Willett, was exposed for molesting underage boys back in 1973. I didn't know whether to believe this or not. However, after being shown all the evidence about this dude in some ordinary gamer's video, I thought I should at least spread awareness on who this man truly is. He even made an apology video in which he is now deleted from his channel, alongside a shit ton of his own content, which I am assuming, since he did all of that his apology video didn't really go too well. Here's a clip from the deleted video in which he explains his sentencing over the situation that happened a while ago.
Now, about 1977, I became involved with the court system once again. I was arrested. I was tried, I was convicted by a jury, and I was sentenced. And the sentence was life in prison. And the sentence was life in prison. And the sentence was life in prison. Three lives in prison. I regret that I have but one life to give for this video.
My boy Feature Man had 3 life sentences. That is fucking crazy. And I kinda find it weird that he doesn't really care about this at all, and almost seems a little bit happy in some way. Anyways, here's another clip in which he explains what he was actually being charged with, and I'm gonna be real with you guys, what he says here is kinda cringe as fuck.
Infamous crime against nature. And it is written very specifically, the, T-H-E, singular, one only. The infamous crime, without an S on the end. It's a singular event that is illegal. The infamous crime against nature. I was charged with that, and what it is, anything that they want it to be, and I'm talking about the prosecution, the district attorney's office. If a police officer didn't like you, they could charge you with infamous crime against nature. If you had any sort of sexual contact with anyone other than a man and a woman who are married to each other, anything else was considered infamous crime against nature. And without getting into details, I will say that there was a trial, and the witness against me, and he was over 18 years of age.
Now I'm gonna stop it right there, because to be real with you guys, most of this video is just him making excuses, not telling the entire truth, and essentially blaming the fact that he was doing homosexual acts with a male, and saying that's what caused him to get 3 life sentences, which is fucking crazy because, to be honest, you know, he's right in saying that the infamous crime against nature law was probably pretty vague at the time and was most likely used against homosexuals. However, I don't think that was the main reason he was charged with that, because if you look at the official court documents of his case right here, it says, "The record shows that the appellant, in November 1973, while playing in a musical group, volunteered to entertain the children at Child Haven in Las Vegas. There, he met the victim of this crime, a minor boy. He went with the boy to his room to introduce him to the guitar, but the session ended in the first of several acts of bad stuff on the minor. During the same month, appellant visited the Eddie Lee Home for Boys in Clark County. There, he met a minor boy who testified that while the defendant, a volunteer worker, was helping us to set up for Christmas, the defendant performed an act of bad stuff upon the young man. This testimony was admitted during the state's case in chief, and it is the admission of this testimony upon which the appellant seeks reversal of his judgment of conviction. That right there is fucking disgusting. And there's even news clippings about this case that explain Thomas Willett was supposed to be some sort of caretaker for these children, and that they were in foster-like situations, and they didn't really have any family, and he would use his authority over them to abuse them and assault them. He abused and assaulted children that were supposed to fucking trust him, and that is a terrible thing. This dude is a fucking monster. And going back to the video I showed y'all earlier, you might have noticed that he said the victim against him was over 18, right? But that was during the trial. When he actually did the fucking crime, the victim was only 14 years old. I guess he fucking forgot to mention that or something. Cause yeah, the victim was 18 during the trial, but like, during the crime itself, he was 14. And also, for him to go on and blame the fact that he was doing homosexual acts, and saying that was the main reason for why he was sentenced to 3 life sentences, is fucking insane, since he was sentenced like that cause he assaulted young boys. Let me repeat that again. He was not sentenced to 3 life sentences cause he was gay. It was cause he assaulted multiple young boys. That is fucking disgusting. And to me, the worst part about this is that he shows absolutely no remorse in this video whatsoever. He never brings up the fact that he assaulted those children, he never apologized for it, and he just keeps making excuses and dancing around the truth. And it even seems like he's very proud of the fact that he got away with it. And you might be asking right now, how the fuck did he get away with it if it seems like all the proof was right there at the time? Well, he boasts about it in this clip right here where he explains how he got out of that sentencing scot-free because of a technicality.
It has to do with due process. And I realized after reading it that the judge did not have the authority to place me in jail as a condition of probation. And the reason being, it's not in the law of Nevada. The law in Nevada said when a person commits the infamous crime against nature, they shall be sentenced to prison for life. That's the only and there was no description of what a infamous crime against nature was. Anyway, the result of my reading that, I wrote a writ or a motion, and I asked to be sent back down. This is after he had ruled on the sentence and placed me in prison for life, supposedly, but with the first year being on probation in Clark County Jail. And so I got myself back into court, and they brought in my attorney and the prosecutor, and the judge says, Mr. Willett, I have your document here where you want to challenge my authority to place you in Clark County Jail for 1 year. He said, but before I rule on this, I think it would be good for you to listen to a writ or motion that the deputy district attorney wants to submit. I said, fine. And so the deputy district attorney said, we asked for the release of Tom Willett.
What bothers me about this is how fucking happy and proud he seems to be when explaining how he found this loophole in the system. It's fucking sociopathic. Anyways, to explain what exactly he means in that clip, we're going to take a look back at the court documents which say his 3 life sentences were actually suspended, and instead, the judge gave him probation that isn't supposed to exceed 5 years, and he will spend his first year in the Clark County Jail. Well, in Nevada law, at the time, it states that anyone sentenced with the infamous crime against nature would be sentenced to life no matter what. The judge didn't do that. He suspended that sentence and gave him probation instead, and the judge is not supposed to do something like that. So when Willis and his lawyers brought this up to the judge, Willis just automatically won the case, since an error like that isn't supposed to happen. Like, yeah, the judge could have fought or something against that, but if the case was taken to the Supreme Court, that would have just fucked up the judge altogether. At least, that is how I understand it. To be honest, this situation is pretty confusing, and if I get anything wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But I believe that's how it went. Anyways, going back to now, no one really knew about this case too well, until a lot of videos started to pop up recently about him being a predator. So then he decided to make a response video, which was titled, My Jailhouse Adventures, Recommended for Adults Only, which he deleted right after. And that video seemed to only serve to only fuel the flame against him more, since a lot of people by now have already seen the evidence and can see through his bullshit. And look, before I get any comments saying that he's old now, who cares? Or, what if he's already changed his ways? Or some shit like that. I usually like to believe that people can change, right? At least to an extent. However, the crime he has done is fucking disgusting, and justice was never served at all. And the response video he made shows me that he doesn't feel any type of remorse at all for his actions against those kids, and is even proud that he got away with what he did. A man that has done something to children only a monster would do and feels no remorse for it at all should have no platform at all. I believe it would be best if he was removed from YouTube and can never have a platform or an audience again. He's a fucking monster, and he should have lost all of his rights to interact with people a long time ago. And he proved to me and a lot of other people that he doesn't really give one shit about it. By the way, if you want more information on this situation, you could always watch Some Ordinary Gamer's video on this, since he does a really good job on explaining the whole thing. You could also check out the sources I got in the description below if you want to see all the evidence yourself, if you're like that. But anyways, I think that's enough ranting for me today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of your day, and bye.